and today's topic is how you can create a custom copilot with Azure AI Studio. Today we have joining us for speaker. He's Naveen Kumar, and he's a data engineer and also a C Sharp Corner MVP. And he's gonna take us to the topic. And before we get into the session, so we also have Define, who is a Code Without Barriers ambassador, and she's gonna share more about Code Without Barriers and what they've been doing and what they plan on doing. And let's hear it. Hi, Dafin. You there?
Hello, hi Suraj, hi Naveen, hi everyone. Yes, I'm here. Uh, shall I just kick off my intro for Code Without Barriers?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thanks, Suraj. Welcome everyone to the call. I hope you can hear me properly. If not, please let me know in the chat or stop me. So my name is Daphne Chong, and I am a partner solution architect at Microsoft. And today I would like to share with you a bit about Code Without Barriers and what is it all about. So let me share my screen so we can uh, go through the slides. Give me a second. Okay. All right. I hope you can see my screen. I'm just going to play a short video. Okay. Oh, I may not have shared my audio. Hang on. Let me do it. Okay. Include sound. Okay.
My favorite subject in school is science because you can invent all different kinds of cool things and there's like no limit what you can do.
One inventor is Benjamin Franklin.
Leonardo da Vinci,
Thomas Edison.
I was
Albert Einstein.
Nikola Tesla,
Alexander Bell Graham.
No. It's kind of a tough one.
In school, it was always a male inventor. I just realized.
Oh my God, there's so much. I didn't even know they even know all that stuff. You're surprised because they only talk about Einstein and Benjamin, but you never hear a girl in a conversation.
To know that there were women before me.
It gives me like motivation that I can invent something and make maybe like a change in the world, and that would be really cool.
Right, that was just a short video. So that is the intro to our Code Without Barrier. Basically, it is a program by Microsoft to create awareness and increase women participation, especially in the technology sector. So we believe in innovation, entrepreneurs, creators, and developers need to reflect the society. And we aim to help close the gender gap in regions of fast growing cloud, artificial intelligence, and digital technology sectors. And we provide a platform for female developers, founders, communities, and organizations to contribute towards inclusive economic growth. As you can see, currently, there's only about 28.2% share of women in science and technology sector, and even fewer in the C-suite sector of enterprise and companies. So this program basically aims to improve the gap as in narrow the gap here. And how do we do this? We partner with customers and partners, good partners like Stiava, definitely, and communities, right? The open source communities, to bring the talent into our partners and customers, and therefore hopefully narrow the gap that way. So there are many ways where we partner with our community. It includes skilling. Today is a example of skilling. So thank you so much, Naveen, for doing this session. We also do partnerships, mentorships, communities, and hackathons. So these are some of the logos of all our active partners in this region, but we are not just, we started off in ASEAN, but we are slowly going global with this program. And you can see we have now community partners and increasing meetups every month or so, and across ASEAN, India, and ANZ. As our CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, said, if you bring two kids, if you have two kids at school and one of them has more innate capability, but is a know-it-all, and the other person has less innate capability, but is a learn-it-all, the learn-it-all does better than the know-it-all. So here at Microsoft, we believe that it's more important to have the willingness to learn more every day. And here are some success stories. Basically, I think just very positive feedback from our community and those who have benefited from this program. So I hope you will enjoy today's session. And I will skip this video, but if you want to learn more, you can go to aka.ms/code without barriers. And there is also a LinkedIn group. You can search for Code Without Barriers and join there. So today, if you are identified as a woman or as a lady, please welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Please tell your friends about what we are doing with Siava and the community. And if you are a male or a man or a boy, don't worry as well. We are all here to learn. And if you get the opportunity to next time invite a colleague who is female, or you want to invite a sister or a cousin to join the program as well, please do so, because that will help us reach our goal faster. All right. So that's my intro. If you have any question at all, feel free to ping me on the side or reach out to one of the organizers here. Thank you so much. Hi, Suraj, should I pass it back to you or? Um,
Yeah, thank you, Define. I think we had a brief idea about it, and I hope everybody here will, also share more about Code Without Barriers. So we can now jump to the session. I would like to invite Naveen to get started with session.
Okay, so I would like to thank Daphne for setting the floor on the Code Without Barriers, letting us know what the Code Without Barriers does. And I'm very much happy to be part of the skilling program to share my knowledge to the everyone. It's not only for women or a men, so I'm sharing the knowledge to everyone who is willing to learn. Okay, so without any delay, let's get started to the today's topic. I'll share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. And yeah,
Yes, it's a
sure. Yeah, okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's interesting topic, from knowledge to conversation. So, the core part is here, create your own chatbot with Azure AI services. So, before getting into this topic, today's topic, right? So, I'm not sure how many of you joined my previous session. crafting a custom co-pilot using Azure AI Studio. So that's also part of the same code without barriers scaling program. So if you have joined that session, so we have created our own co-pilot using Azure AI Studio. So if you have not joined, so probably there is a recording and it has been published in the channel as well, YouTube channel. Probably at the end of the session, Shura can post the links. So those who are not joined, probably go through that. I'll just give a quick recap what we did it on the previous session, because the today's session also more of related to that, but we are going to create it with some different services. So it's better to know what we did in the previous session. Okay. So if you see in previous session, what we did is we created a co-pilot using our own knowledge base. So we created a knowledge base using a text file, and we had a one set of knowledge base in the PDF file. Okay, so using those two knowledge base, we went and created a Copilot using Azure AI Studio. So AI Studio is one of the unified platform for all the AI related services. So what we did is we created a storage account to keep the knowledge base, and we created a search service to have a retrieval and interaction basis, and we went and used ChatGPT 35 turbo model, and we built a custom copilot. Okay, so that's all about that previous session, that small recap. So in today's session also, we are going to create our own chatbot with our own data. So we are not going to use any external data, means which is there in the internet. We are going to use simple data. We'll have a data in our Excel. So using that Excel data, we are going to create a chatbot, how it's going to respond to us. Okay, so we'll get into the topic today. So what we are going to see today. Okay, so we are going to see Azure AI language service. So we'll get into what AI language services does and what it uses. Like it uses the natural language processing (NLP), and also it supports the conversational language understanding. So that's a conversational AI, and we are going to see understand the question and answering, and finally we'll see a demo. At the end, we'll have a question and answering session. Okay. So what is AI language? So AI language is a cloud-based service that provides a natural language processing feature for understanding and analyzing the text. Okay. So if we use this service, why we are going to use this service, if you see, so we will use this service to build an intelligent application. So maybe we can use that application in the web-based using our language studio, or we can use a REST APIs and also using the client libraries. Okay, so if you see what AI language is all about, is that's one resource that enables us to build applications with industry leading with natural language capabilities. So here we are not going to use any machine learning models or any expertise. Whereas I said in the previous session, we used a ChatGPT 35 turbo model, the machine learning model, to build a copilot. But here we are not going to use any of the machine learning model, just using the natural language resources to authorize and predict the responses what we input it. So this is all about the AI language. Okay. So next we are going to see the natural language processing. Okay, and before that, right, this complete session will be in simple terms. You are not going to see any kind of a AI related service. We are going to just see only the basic AI services like language service, natural language processing, and conversational language understanding, and under conversational understanding, what are all the core components we have. By using only these simple concepts, we are going to create a chatbot. All right, okay, so let's get into what is natural language processing. So NLP is a branch of artificial intelligence. Okay, so that focuses more of interaction between computers and humans using our own language, the native language model languages. Okay, it's all about teaching the machines to understand, interpret, and generate the human languages. Okay, so think of it like we have a takes behind voice assistants, language translation services, right? That's one of the services in the Azure. So where you can input one of the language and it can translate to the respective, the if you have given it in the English, it can translate it to the French. Okay, so that's a take behind it. Okay, and even the sentiment analysis also we can say, so the NLP users. Okay, in simple terms, NLP enables a computer to process and understand large amount of natural language data. Okay, so it processes the large amount of the data, making an interaction with technologies more intuitive. So when I say the technologies, you might see in the chat applications in the delivery apps or the e-commerce sites also, right? So those are all like it's processing the more large amount of data at the back end. So that's NLP. And also NLP supports applications, right? If we see the real-time examples where we can utilize this NLP. So the NLP applications can see, it can hear, it can speak with us, or it can understand what we are asking. It means basically it understands the user by using the text analytics. We can say translation, language understanding services, everything it's there in the Microsoft Azure. So Microsoft Azure provides all these features to build best AI applications using these language models. Okay, so this is all about natural language processing, NLP. Okay, so the next one what we are going to see is conversational language understanding. So what is conversational language understanding? Why we need it, right? So this CLU, I'll take it short form, right? The CLU is used to build language models. Okay, in previous also we see, right? It's used to interact with the computers and humans. So this CLU is used to build the language model that interpret the meaning of phrases in conversational settings. Okay, so that is conversational language understanding. Okay, so if you see the three core concepts here, it's utterance, entity, and intent. So these are the three core components. We'll get into detail in that. Before get into this, so the required resources to use this CLU capabilities, right? The one is the Azure AI language, which we saw the beginning of the slide. The first topic we covered is the Azure AI language, and the next one is the AI Azure AI service, Azure AI service. So what is AI services? It's general resource. Okay, it's general resource that includes CLU, so the conversational language understanding, along with the many other the language services in the Azure. It's Microsoft Azure itself, so that you can use this type of resources to for predictions. Okay, so that is the AI services. Okay, now let's get deeper into these three core concepts: utterance, entities, and intent. So this utterance, entity, intent. So whenever we chat with any application, for example, if we take most of the will use Copilot or ChatGPT, we will use it for our everyday day-to-day activities, right? So when we give some input in the ChatGPT, right? So for example, give me itinerary for South Asia, something where we want to travel. So we will give some prompt, right? So how we are going to give the prompt? In that prompt, we can identify what is utterance, what is entity, and what is intent. So if we know all about that, we can give our prompt very ethically, and we can get the response as expected way. Okay, so now let's see the example here. What we have here. So could you book a restaurant in Manhattan? So this is a input, and user can put it into the chat applications, right? So if you look here, that will consider as an utterance. So the input which user gives is considered as an utterance. So utterance is something where user might say and which your applications must interpret. So example we saw here is could you book a restaurant in Manhattan? So what we can say, another example is we can say when we are using a home automation, right, where we want to switch on the fan or turn off the light using some of the devices, the Alexa or Google Home we have. So when we want to use such devices and when we want to put an input, switch the fan on or turn on the light, so that will be considered as an utterance. That input is considered as an utterance. So what is intent here? So intent is nothing but it's represent the purpose or goal expressed in the user's input in the sense utterance. Okay, so if you take the first example, so restaurant in Manhattan, so the user is looking for a restaurant booking, so that is the goal, that's the purpose, right? So that is intent. So what is entity then? So entity is an item which an utterance refers the input, right? In the input which is referencing here, where it's referencing, it can be a place or it can be a area, location, like that, right? So that will be the entities. So if you see here, the area is the Manhattan, the location. So that will be the entities. The example which we saw, right, the home automation, switch the fan on. So if you consider that one, the entity is fan. Okay. And if we take the second example here, could you book a seafood restaurant near me? So this is again an utterance. So again here the intent will be the same, the restaurant booking. And if you look at the entities, the near me, the location is near me, and the cuisine is seafood. So these two will be the entities. Let's look at the third example. Could you make a reservation at Red Lobster tonight? Okay, so again, if you look here, the intent is again the same, restaurant booking. So, and if you look at for an entities, the place name, the Red Lobster, that is the entity, and time. So these two are the entities for this example. So this is all about the conversational language understanding and the three concepts, the core concepts like utterance, entities, and intent, which plays major role in the prompts where the user gives an input. Okay, so I'll take a pause here and I'll quickly recap what we saw till now. So we saw what is an AI language, and we saw about the natural language processing, what it's an NLP, and the third topic we saw is CLE, the conversational language understanding, and the resource which uses is again the AI language and the AI service, and finally we saw the three core concepts like utterance, entities, and intent. So if you have any questions, please put it on the chat, and the end we'll have a look at all the questions. Okay. And the next topic is key features. So what are the key features Azure AI language uses? Okay, so you can see here the key face extraction, named entity recognition, sentiment analysis and opinion mining, language detection, translation, summarization, entity linking, question answering. Okay, so these are all the features we have, and here we are going to use a question answering feature for our demo. So we are going to create a chatbot which is purely for a question and answering. Okay, so let's see what is key face extraction and each items, and then we'll directly go to the demo. So key face extraction is just identifying and extracting the most relevant phrases from the given string. So when you put some document or some strings you are giving, so it's used to extract the relevant information out of it. And named entity recognition. What is the named entity recognition is? It's identify and categorize the entities. We saw it in the previous example, right? The entities like person, location, cuisines also we saw in the restaurant, right? So those are all the entities. So if we give some document, from the document, if you want to extract a place, if you give your ticket details and you want to extract the person name, time, and the places where he is traveling, the date, so those are all the named entity recognition. And sentiment analysis and opinion mining. So sentiment analysis is like the identifying the feedbacks from the customer reviews, right? Whether the positive review, it's a negative review, or it's neutral. So that is the sentiment analysis. And what is opinion mining? So this provides more granular information about the review for particular feedback. So it will get into more granularity of it. So that's an opinion mining, okay, kind of decision making. And the next service we'll see is the language detection. So the language detection is when you have some kind of language in the Chinese language. So the service will automatically detect this is a Chinese, this is a Spanish, this is a French. Probably I'll try to show a few of the examples before we start the demo for this. Okay, and the next one is the translation. So this is like predicting the input string or the text, and it will automatically translate to the target language. If we set English to French, it identifies the English language and it automatically translates it to the French language, and it gives reply back in the same translated language itself. And the next feature is the summarization. So summarization is like when you have given some kind of a large paragraph, the large sentences, and you want to extract the summarization of it. For example, when you're attending some meetings and all the meetings notes has been recorded, and if you want to send in a minutes of meeting for that meeting, so you can just use this summarization feature. It will just extract what is some MOM of all the meeting is all about. So that's the summarization. And entity linking. So this entity linking is the feature to identify entities in the word or the phrases. For example, the named entity recognition, which we see the initially, right? So that used to extract it from the text or the document, but here the entity linking is for the external things where you have some entities you need to link it from the websites, the external websites. Okay, so example here, Wikipedia we see, right? So when you want to do the linking in the external sites, so that's called as an entity linking. Okay, and question and answering. So this feature is most appropriate for the when we ask some questions and the application will give us a response. So what is the weather today? So the application will give the response of what is the weather of today. Okay, so this is all about the key features of Azure AI language. So yeah, so this is all about today's theoretical thing. So now let's get into the demo part. Okay, so so before getting to the demo, this is my GitHub repository, and you can, if you are looking for the whatever the PPT I'm showing, so I'll give the link at the end of the session, so you'll have the presentation slides, everything in this repo, so you can use it. Everything whatever we discussed, everything it will be there. So now we'll go into the demo. So I'm going to the portal.azure.com. Okay, so this is the home page. Now initially we saw we are going to use the language, right? The AI language service. So I'm just going to search for language and I click language. So I'm going to create one language service here. So these are all the features we saw, right? The sentiment analysis, key face extraction. So here we have few of it, and we are not going to use any of it right now. So we are going to use a custom question answering. So I'm going to select this custom question answering and continue to click your resource. And here I'm going to select my resource group, and I'm going to use a central US region. I'm going to give the resource name. Here is Chatbot Q&A 001. So pricing tier, I'll select S 1K calls per minute, and we need to keep a search region. So the one thing you want to keep on mind is whichever the region you selected for an instance, the same region You have to select it for all the services which you are creating. And Azure pricing tier, I'm going to keep it as free. And here we have a checkbox to, we are going to use this as a responsible way. So I'm just click it. And when you're on clicking, you'll go to network, identity, tags, and review and create. So I'm going to keep everything as a default. I'm not going to make any changes to all these properties. So I'll directly click review and create. So my deployment is getting validated here. So once it get validated, the create button will be enabled. Yeah, it's validated. Now I'll click on create. So the deployment has been submitted and it got initialized. So it's submitting. So once it get created, so we will go into the language resources. So here we can see the deployment details. So it's in progress. Let's give a minute to complete the deployment. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, let me look at the chat. Okay, I don't have any open questions. Okay, yeah. So still it's getting deployed. So we can see here the search services got created and we have one cognitive service and now it's getting deployed. Okay, so the deployment is completed. Once deployment is completed, you can click on this go to resource group. So here the chatbot QA Q&A01, right? So this is our language service. The search service which is required for this chatbot is get automatically created. We no need to specifically mention because we just while creating we mentioned only the region and this pricing tier. So click on this chatbot QA001 and if you scroll down here you can see the language studio. So I'm just clicking get started with language studio. So it will directly take us to the unified portal for the language related services. So here you can see many features what we saw initially, right? So let me go to the summarization. So when you click on this tryout, so you have all those sentences here, the text. And if you run this, this is just for trying out. So it summarizes the information what is there in this text. So if you want to use your own things, then you can create a resource and you can upload your document or you can put your string and you can test it. So this is for summarization, document translation. If we go to the extract information, right, we saw about the named entity recognition. So all those features are available here. If you want to try it out, named entity recognition. So we have one legal text here in the text box. So when I run this, so it extracted the information from this text. If you see the date, name, place, everything it's there. So see here the date and time, entity value, person type, organization, quantity. So all the entities are getting extracted from the text. You can see here date, person, everything. So this is about named entity recognition. And if you go to classified text, so detect language, we saw right one of the example detect language. So here if you see the document is in English, so this is the text we have. So when I run this, so it gives the language detected is English and the confidence score is 99%. So here we have a mixed language, one of the examples. See, hello, I would like to take a class at the university and we have some language. So I'm not sure what language it is. So what we can do is just run this and it's The language detected here is the Spanish, and the confidence score is 88%. So here we have example for French and Chinese as well. So running this, it will predict it. Okay, so here is this is one of the language detect service. So if you want to use it, so here you have the site, you can create this respective as resources, and you can put your own code, and you can see probably maybe in the future sessions I can take these examples and I can show you. And let's get into today's demo. So under this understanding question and conversational language, so here we are going to create a question and answering board. So here I click this custom question and answering. So, okay, so I'll sign in with Azure again. So it will ask you the basic details. So we'll give that. So it's a directory, my subscription, resource type I'm going to use, and the resource name we have already created the chatbot QA001. So I'm going to select and click done. So my Q&A custom question answering is module is set up. Now I'm going to create a new project here. So here, once you click on this new project, it will ask you for select the language. Either you can select this at the initial phase now itself, or while creating the project also you can create it. Either way you can do it. So I'm going to do it right away. So I have selected English and click next. So here I'm going to give a uh, project name. So I'm giving the chatbot Q&A demo 01. Okay, description I can leave it. So in case the chatbot doesn't find the relevant information, what is the default answer it needs to return? So no answer found. So I click next. So and then I'll create a project. So now the project is getting created. Okay, so now, so what is the data source we are going to use for this chatbot? So I have already created a Excel with set of questions. So if you see here, I have a question and answers. So this chatbot, I'm specifically building it for Azure certification related information. So if you have any questions related to Azure related certifications, you have asked this bot, it will give you the answer. So I have set of questions and I have set of answers. It's similar to any of your e-commerce or the delivery apps, right? So they have all pre-built questions and the answers. Okay, so I'm going to use this Excel as my data source. So here if you click add data source, I'm going to click on files. So add files, and I select choose file, and my document is in my desktop. I selected it, and I'm going to give it as knowledge base 01 as a source name, and just click add all. So my source is getting added here. So we can check here the status. So it's getting added. Let's give a seconds to complete. Yeah, so our source has been added, so we can see the details here. Now we need to, if you want to go on edit it, so you can click this edit knowledge base, and you can go on edit it here if you want anything to be edited. Okay, so I don't have anything to edit it here, so I'm just going to leave it. So if you want to test it, right, whatever the questions we have, right, if you want to test it, whether the data source which we uploaded is correct or not, whether it's responding the information correctly or not, so you can test it. So here is the test symbol, right? So you click here. So here, on clicking this symbol, include short answer response. For example, what is AI 900 certification is all about? That's a question you are going to put. If you simply put AI 900, it will give you the response. So if you want to put some short answer response, if you want, you can click here. Okay. Now I'm going to type hi. Hi. Okay, for hi, I'm Azure Certibot. How can I help you? Okay, now I'm going to ask a question here. What is AZ 900 mainly about? So let me see whether it's giving me a response. Yeah, it's a core cloud concepts and Azure AI service. Okay, so it's giving me the response. Okay, and probably I can ask one more question to test. So, do you need coding skills for AI 900 exam? So no, it's concept focused on beginner friendly. So we don't have any coding skills required for this AI 900 exam. So yeah, so it's getting responses from our knowledge base. Okay, so it's working. So we can go and deploy it. So here, if you see here, I can clear the chat. I'll close this. So here, if you see the deploy the knowledge base. So I'm going to deploy this and I'll click deploy. So kind of like I'm publishing my chatbot application now. So I just clicked deploy. So it's getting deployed. So let's wait for the deployment to complete. So yeah. So now if you see the deployment is completed here. Okay. So now we are going to create a bot actually. So once you deployed here, you got to create a bot. I'm going to click this, create a bot. So it may take you to another portal. So where we'll create a bot. So here we are going to create our own bot. Okay, so I'm going to select my resource group and it's central 01 bot handle. So bot handle, if you want to give any name you can give. I'm going to just give it chatbot qa001 bot itself. And pricing tier, if you want to change your pricing tier you can change it. So its standard is 41 rupees. It's there for per message. It's 1000 rupees estimated for this 41 rupees. So I'm going to use a free tier, pricing tier. So I'll select it. And here you have a creation type. Create a new user, assign manager or existing user. I'm going to create it with a new user. And clicking next, it will go for a web app. So here I'm going to keep the SDK language section as a C sharp, so I'm not going to change it. And the app service plan, create a new app service plan here. I don't have anything created the existing app, so I'm going to create a new app service plan. Now here we need to put the language resource key because we are going to use a language resource, right, which we created at the beginning. So I'll go to the language resource which we created. Okay, and once you come here, this is the language resource chatbot QA001 we created initially, right? And if you come here, this resource management keys and endpoint. So click on this keys and endpoint. So here you have a key. Just click on show key and I'm going to copy this key one and let me go to the other tab. Here I'm going to paste the key which I'm copied. Okay, so and then I'm going to keep all those informations as default. I'm not going to make any change and click next. So my deployment is getting validated now. Let's wait for a minute. So it's validated. Now I'm going to click on create. So deployment is getting submitted. Let's wait. So if you guys also want to try this demo, so probably you guys are first time logging into the Microsoft Azure portal, so you will get a free $200 credit. So as a first time registration, and you'll have 12 months of time to play with all the services from Microsoft Azure. Even you can try the AI related service as well. And the $200 credit is only for a month, so 30 days. So you can use the $200 credit for utilizing any of the paid features and all. All right. So you can, if you want to go and play with this, you can go to portal.azure.com and you can register for yourself. Okay, so it's getting deployed. So meanwhile, what we can do, we'll go and see what are all the resources we have created as part of this demo. So I'll go to Azure portal and I'll click all resources. So if you see, these are all the resources we created. Okay, one is the app service plan we just selected while deploying it, create a new app service plan. So that is the one it's getting created. And this is the chatbot, and this is the language service and the search service. Still, our bot is not get created. So once that created, we'll see one more resource here like a bot. Let's see. It's getting deployed. Let's wait for a minute. Meanwhile, I'll check if there is any. Okay, it got completed. So I'll click on go to resource group. So the deployment is complete. Let's go here. Sorry. I'll just scroll this. Yeah. So I'll refresh. Okay. So here you can see this chat bot. The Azure bot has been created. Now I'll click on this go to resource. And if I come here, this chatbot 001. So I'll click on this. I can do it there as well. So here is the chatbot we got it. Whatever we created, right? This is our bot. So how we can going to test this is we are going to test it as a web app. So I'll go to channels here. So if you see here, channels. So you click on this channel and you can deploy this chatbot in the below mentioned applications. You can deploy to Twilio SMS service, Telegram, Slack, Skype. It will not work as of now, and Outlook also you can use. Omnichannel, Microsoft Teams also it will not work as of now because the plugins are not getting updated from the services. So you can add it to the Skype as a bot, as a contact, but it will not give you any response from Skype. And Microsoft Teams, the older version it will support, but if you're installing with the newer enterprise, it will work in the enterprise version, but if you're using the older version, it will not work. So the plugins are getting updated. So what we are going to do is we are going to try it with a web chat. So I click this web chat. So I'll click on this default site. So here I have an embedded code. What I'm doing to do is I copy this code. I'll open a notepad. I paste this code here. So if you see here what's there in this, we have our web bot thing, and here it's asked to put your secret key. So what I'm going to do is here we have a secret key, right? I just open it. I'll copy this secret key and I'm going to replace this secret key here, and I'll save this. I'll save this in a desktop. I'll give Azure Certibot.html. Okay, so I'm going to save this as a HTML file. Okay, I saved it. Now I'll go and check this Azure Certibot. I'm just opening it. So it open. Okay. So this is my chatbot. So I created my own chatbot for a question and answering purpose. Okay, now I'll just type hello. Let's wait for a response. Yeah, okay. So hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Satibot. Hi, I'm Satibot. How I can help you? Okay, so this is the response it's getting. So we can test it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. List down Azure fundamental certifications. Let's see what are all the certifications it has. So it returns AI 900, AZ 900, all artificial intelligence, Azure, data platform, security, all fundamental questions. Let me put a short word AI 900. Let me see, is it returning anything for me? Okay, no, so because it contains the same question, so it doesn't return for me. So I'll put in another question. What is the what is Azure Developer Associate for? So building and deploying apps. So this Azure Developer Associate is for building and deploying apps, and it's giving me the certification. AZ204 is the certification for this one. And if you want to test it, what is the let me ask what is machine learning in AI? Let's see whether I have such questions. Yeah, it enables system to learn and improve without explicit coding. So yeah, so this is the chatbot I created using my own Excel data. So for example, if you have your own set of questions, for example, the retail or a travel, where you, user comes and asks for an eternity or cuisines, the restaurants I can look for. So you have those knowledge base with you. You put all those things in an Excel or a text file. So you can create your own chatbot for the travel agency or the restaurants, and you can plug it in your website or your chat applications wherever, even in the WhatsApp also you can plug it. Yeah, so this is all about the demo we have, and we came to end of the today's session. So let's go for a questions. So do we have any open questions?
Thank you, Naveen, for the session. I think there was no technical questions.
Oh, okay,
Let's give
well,
them
yeah,
2 minutes
sure, yeah.
to drop their questions.
Mhm. Question: how will the AI be able to improve its response? Does it improve as frequently use the AI system? Okay, so in this particular case, right, the knowledge base is predefined. So for the question, what is the answer you have given? So it will give only that response. If you want to improve the response, probably you need to go and edit your knowledge base and you have to push the deployment. So from the next questions, it will take it up. But whereas in the previous session, we have created using a ML model. Here we didn't use ML models. So if we using any ML model, it may train the response, and the first response may be incorrect answer. It try to correct itself based on the responses. Okay, if you are using, but here we didn't use any ML model, just we are using a question and answering feature from the language service. Yeah, so I hope I answered your question. Can we make native separated AI applications using Azure? Native, I think the initially when we created, we have to select the language, right? The English what we selected. Probably when you are creating a bot applications for your own native language, probably you can check that language and then you can create it. Yes. Okay. So as a best practice, at the end of the demo, you can clean up all your resources. If you are using a free credits, okay, but if you are using a pay as you go, it's always good to clean up your resources. So you can altogether you can clean up, just select all and click delete, and click delete, and you can clean up the resources. Okay, next question is Azure AI is only for developing information related to AI, or else we can develop different types of models? A good question. So it's not only for AI. So we can use the integrate it with the data also. So where we have huge amount of data, so where you want to do some prediction and you want to, for example, you have a sales data for this year and you want to predict what will be the sales next year. So you can use that data in your AI models and you can predict the sales result next year, and you can identify what kind of a product can sell more and what kind of feedback. So we saw the sentiment analysis, right? The positive and negative feedback. Based on that, we can improve the things, improve the sales or improve the customer experiences. It can used in any kind of a domains, healthcare, banking, supply chain, retail, logistics, everywhere it can be used. It's not only to build the AI. It can support for all the features. I hope I answered that. May know the difference between the other AI models, Gen AI, ChatGPT, etc. So Gen AI is not a kind of a chat application. It's kind of a generative AI. So where it can give you the own kind of inputs, text, language, audio, whatever it is, it can go. So Chat GPT. So, for example, if we take Chat GPT Copilot from Google, we have a Gemini and we have GorQ. So many models, Perplexity. So it's all related to the chat applications, right? So each has its own knowledge base and returns input based out of it. For example, if you take the Copilot, maybe the programmers, it will be the assistant, developer assistants, where it integrated with the Visual Studio Code. It helps you to write your own code, and it can integrate it with the GitHub. It will review your code. It can create your test cases for you. There are so many features. Whereas the Chat GPT, where you can have like where we are not going with the traditional search, we are not going to the Google for a traditional search, where we can use the Chat GPT for a one-to-one interaction. So and all these models will give set of the inputs based on their knowledge base, so each one has their own uniqueness. Next question: is it possible to make offline AI application using Azure, like APK setup files? I don't think so. We can create an offline applications. So in that case, you have to keep the knowledge base in your on-prem, and the models, the AI models, everything it's running on the Azure, right? So you cannot keep it offline. Probably you can go for using the other models from the offline things, the LLM models, and you can create your own application. I don't think so. With Azure, you can create it offline. Say from different channels shown from demo, can this be deployed on a web browser? Yes, sir. I think I created a this it's a web app only, right? So you can create your own web application and you can host it. That this chatbot can be hosted in that web. Probably if I'm not deleted. So here you can give it like a site name, default site. So you can go and do all those site settings and all, and you can use that. Thank you everyone for joining today's session, and I'm happy to answer all your questions. Probably we'll catch up in next interesting session with some different topics. Until then, thank you.
Thank you, Naveen, for the session. Really appreciate it for taking your time to share your knowledge with everybody here. And everyone here, thank you for joining on evening. And I hope you are taking away something in the session as well. And we could, as a ending, we could take a quick snap with everybody who joined. So I'm just gonna give the let's give them a minute to turn on the camera, and we can take that snap. That's it. Thank you everyone for joining again, and thank you for Define and Naveen to join as well for sharing about Code Without Barriers and session. I hope you all will be checking out Code Without Barriers and sharing it with your friends, families, and whoever needs to hear about it. And you can find the links in chat box. Thank you everyone for joining again, and have a great evening.